Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to film my first, I guess, TBR for the year. So we're going to be picking my TBR for the month of February, and I have my TBR cart here. I've never had a TBR cart, so I'm pretty excited about this. I saw Just Ali on BookTube do like a bingo style video for her February picks, and I wanted to do something similar, but there's a twist. Instead of a written bingo sheet, I have pictures that we're going to decipher together, and then I have my jar. I think I'm going to pick 5 or 6 books, maybe 6, so that we can have options. But it's a Valentine's Day themed sheet that I found on Canva, and then I just switched out some of the pictures. So I'm really excited to film this video. It is something I've never done because usually I just create prompts and select from that. The books on my TBR cards are all books that were on my 25 to read in 2025, so that I can prioritize them and hopefully pick a lot of the books from there. But obviously mood reading is a big thing, and it is one of my goals in 2025 to mood read more than forcing myself to read something. And then I also have my bookshelves with books that I haven't gotten to, so I will try to find some books from there as well. Let's just jump right into this video and decipher the bingo sheets together. Also, ignore my hair in this video, it's going to be a mess. But the first picture that is on here, B1, is like a letter. So I'm thinking something with letters, or writers, they're sending letters to each other, something like that. I don't know if I have books like that, but it's going to be a challenge. And then since it's February, I put the letter F in here because it's just fitting. So a book that starts with the letter F. Then I have this Cupid here. I'm thinking bow and arrow, maybe fantasy, a romance, but it gives me room that like it could be a fantasy book. And then I have cowgirl boots here, so something along the lines of, you know, western, like, what is it, cowboy romance. Then I have lips here, so obvious, like a book with lips on the front, or a romance. I think like a lot of these are going to be romances, but I tried to incorporate images that can be for like a fantasy romance book. Then I have this potion bottle, could be a fantasy book. Then I have a bouquet of flowers, so maybe, let's see, how many flowers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something related to 7, or a bouquet of flowers, I don't know. And then I have a flame with a heart, something with fire, like burning love, I don't know. I put second here because this is for like a second book in the series, or the next book in the series. Then I have this heart right here with wings, and then there's the key here. This key is, you know, obviously a book with a key, or something with like a house, maybe a second chance. I don't know how I got a second chance, but I guess we'll have to see. And then I have a butterfly. There's one book that I'm thinking of with the butterfly. So in the middle I put Lucky You because that's like a free card for me, so I would get to pick a free book that I want. This one is a box of chocolate, but it's wrapped, so a present, unsolved mystery, I don't know, but something like that. And then this one is a music note, so obviously something related to music. Then I have a book down here, so a book about writers, book characters, or the next book in a series. I feel like this is like a free one as well. Then this one, I have 2 wine glasses where they're like clinking glasses, so I don't know, it looks like the wine could be blood. This one, it says love, and so a romance. This one is a cup with like 2 hearts on top, like a martini or something, so a couple, like a married couple or something like that. This one is 14, so that will be cool because I have my cart, and I guess we'll pick like the 14th book. This one is like a rose, so I feel like a lot of books have roses on the front, so that might be an option. This one has a crown, so maybe like something with royalty. Sometimes like the fantasy books also have I guess like rulers, or like the prince or something. This one is like a sky, like a pink cloud, so it's pretty easy in case I have again, fantasy, because I've been into my fantasy era, you guys, and I have a lot of fantasy books I want to read. This one is a lock, so another romance, and then the last one is an arrow, so could be representing a fantasy book. So that is my bingo sheet. Okay, so the first book, I'm pretty excited. I haven't done this in like a year. This one is I Too. Can you guys see that? So for I Too, ooh, this is hard. For Bouquet of Flowers, the 3 books that I have on my cart with flowers, this one has a rose, and this is Heartless Hunter, a book that I really want to read, and that's why I put the butterfly on my little bingo sheet. And then I have Brutal Prince, and it's like there's like 1 flower, but I feel like the strawberries, I don't know. And then I have A Novel Love Story. I know this one is like more about bookish people. That's what I want to save it for, but there are like flowers down here, like a field of flowers. But let me check my actual like shelves and then see what I have. Okay, so I have 2 books. The first one, I forgot, also has some flowers down here, and this is another book by Ashley Poston. So I really want to read this one. And then the other one I have, she's actually holding like some flowers here. It's called The Wedding Menu. Maybe I'll add this one. Okay, so I'm finalizing my choice, and I'm picking The Wedding Menu by Leticia Larini, and I've wanted to read this book since it like released, I think a year or 2 ago. I think 2 years ago. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one for my first book. Second prompt, B4. Okay, so B4 is this one with a book. I think I'm going to pick this one, A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston, because obviously there's a book on the cover, and this book is about I think she's a writer, or she gets lost in a story, and she is trying to finish a book for the late owner or the late author or something like that. It's the most fitting. So I'm pretty excited. The Dead Romantics would have worked because they're like 2 ghost writers as well, or something like that. Okay, so we're going to pick the next one, but I'm really hoping that we get some fantasy books, because that's what I'm like really into right now. We got N1. N1 is a cupid with an arrow. I actually have some options here. The first book, an arrow, I'm going to count like daggers because that's kind of similar, and then one is not. But the one that doesn't really, I guess, make sense, but it's like my interpretation, that kind of makes sense, is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark, because kind of like a forbidden or a mafia where they're not supposed to, or like rivals where they're not supposed to be together. And then I have The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one is the second book, and there's a sword, I think, on the front, so kind of like an arrow. And then I have A Court of Wings and Ruin. This one is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series by Sarah J Maas, and there's also like a sword on the front of this one. And then the last book I have is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli, and this one there's like a dagger or like some sort of arrow thing right here. I've been really wanting to read this book. Okay, I'm going to pick this one because I do need to read it. It's been a year since I finished A Court of Mist and Fury, so I think I'm going to pick this one, and it makes them like more sense because there's like a sword on the front similar to an arrow. So I guess we're going to pick that one. It's always so hard to think about books and then to have to decipher images. It's kind of hard as well. Next one I have is O2. See, that one should have been for ACOWAR because it is the Heart with Wings, and A Court of Wings and Ruin makes the most sense, but I already picked that one. Okay, I'm having such a difficult time trying to take out the books here, but I have Fear the Flames, so that one I know has dragons, and I feel like this is the perfect time to pick a fantasy book with dragons. I'm already honestly going to read Onyx Storm. This is going to be on my TBR, but I wasn't going to include it in this prompt picking one. I think I'm going to pick Heartless Hunter because there's a moth and it's also called the Crimson Moth, so I think it's perfect because there are wings and it's a romantasy. I've been meaning to read this one because I know that the second one is coming out in February as well, so it's a perfect time and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. Okay, don't look like I have a bingo, but let's pick our 5th book. It is I-1. I-1 is the letter F. So the only book that I have with the letter F is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, and this is the indie version. I didn't anticipate having this on my TBR. It's always full of surprises when we do these videos, so this is my 5th book. Okay, and then the last book to add to my TBR is going to be, let's see, B5. B5 is like a rose, so something with a rose, and I feel like that's pretty easy. Honestly, I could have saved that. Not that I like, you know I was going to pick it, but it would have been perfect for Heartless Hunter because of the flower on the front. The fact that I said it was going to be easy to find a book with a rose and then I have nothing. The books that I have are because the books that I have with a rose, they're all taken. So maybe a flower. Instead of a rose, I'll pick a book with the flower. So I guess the 2 books I already showed you guys, but The Dead Romantics with the flowers at the bottom, or Brutal Prince with the flower in the middle. And I think I'm going to pick Brutal Prince because I've never gotten to a dark romance, and I think it's going to be fun to film a reading vlog for you guys. I'm pretty nervous but excited because this is like something different for me. Okay, so that's the end to picking my TBR, and I'm kind of sad, but I thought that was pretty fun. It was kind of hard. I wish I got a lot more prompts, but I think it's safe to pick 6 because I haven't been reading a lot and I want to leave room to mood read. So I'm going to share all of the books that are on my February TBR. It's very ambitious, but I really hope that I can get to most of them. The first book that I picked, honestly, I forgot the order already, so it's just going to be random. The first book that is not on this bingo game that I selected for February is Onyx Storm. I haven't seen anything, so by the time you guys are watching this, like, I'm very excited to see what you guys think of this book. Please let me know down below, but keep it spoilers free for those that haven't read this book yet. So I'm very excited to read that in February. Then I have a novel love story for the book cover book. It's going to be my 2nd book by Ashley Poston, so I'm very, very excited and I have high hopes, so I can't wait to read this one. Then the next book I have is The Wedding Menu by Leticia Lorini, and I know that this one is like a bakery owner or something, and I heard that it's spicy, so I'm a little nervous, but it is a pretty thick romance book. I don't really know what this one is about. It's a small town, and I guess something that has to do with a wedding, obviously. And then I have Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, and this one has dragons in it. It's about this princess or queen. She's a princess or queen, and she is trying to go back to like her kingdom to take her dragons back from her dad or something. I don't remember, but she basically falls for the commander of that kingdom. I'm trying to go into these books blind for the most part, and I'm probably going to forget whatever I tell you guys. Fourth Wing made me love dragons, so I'm very, very excited. And I've also heard like amazing things about this book, but then recently I've seen some reviews that made me nervous, so I guess we'll have to see. The next book I have is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. It's going to be my first dark romance, if you can consider this a dark romance, but I think I'm going to start with this one because it's about a or two mafia families, and I think that will be interesting, not too creepy maybe. So it's also like looks like a pretty short read, so I'm very, very excited to start this series, even though I'm trying to finish a series, so I shouldn't be starting a new series. Then I have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicarelli. This one is part of the Crimson Moth Crimson Moth Duology. I know it's about a witch and a witch hunter. I think it's like heavy on the enemies to lovers, so I love that, and I'm very excited to see what this one is all about and if it will live up to the hype. Then the last book that I cannot believe I have here is ACOWAR, and I really want to read or finish the ACOTAR series in 2025, but I'm just so intimidated by these books, and I don't know why. I feel like I've read some books like almost this thick, or if not just as thick, and you know, I finished them, but I just get so intimidated by this. The last time I read this, I got to page 70, but honestly I don't really remember anything, so I'm going to have to catch up, you know, again. Those are all of the books that I have for February, and I'm so excited. I know that I have been gone for a little bit. I haven't been consistent, but I'm trying to be. I have a few reading vlogs that will be up pretty late, to be honest, because I have one from, if it's not up already, it's from the end of last year, so I have to put that video up, so it will be my first reading vlog maybe for the year, but it's from last year, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I appreciate all of you guys for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what you guys think of this bingo style. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.